Conversations Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Conversations Interpreting and Translating Podcast. Today, I have with me the AUSIT National President, Angelo Berbotto, and I did have him as my first guest of 2023, but he is a very busy man. There's always so much to talk about with him, and I just thought, well, you have to come on again and, update us with everything that you've been doing, Angelo. How are you? What's been going on?
Hi, Fatih. All is well, thank you. Pretty busy.
You're a very busy man. You've been traveling all around the continent for the last few months, getting the good word out there about translating, interpreting. So on behalf of all the practitioners and everyone out there in the TNI world, I thank you. It can't be easy going around doing all that traveling. How's it been going? You like traveling?
It depends. These are very short trips. I was in Tasmania, in Hobart, February, Melbourne, March, then Adelaide in May. I'm going to Western Australia in October. I'm waiting to hear. I had an event here in New South Wales in May as well, and I'm waiting to hear from the law societies of Queensland and the ACT to organize visiting them and talking to the lawyers. Every time I go to one of these places, it's for two purposes: to talk to practitioners that live in that state, but also to talk to lawyers about how best to work with interpreters in courts and tribunals.
Look, we're always happy to see your face in person, and you're a wonderful person to actually chat to as well, face to face. So if you haven't seen Angelo in one of his touring Australia seminars, please, next time he's in town, go and say hello to him. Very easy man to chat to. How are we going with the law societies of the states? How's the uptake? How's the responses? Do they know what we're on about?
Yes. I mean, we are doing a bit of work to change the culture. Lawyers have their own perspective, and they don't understand sometimes why is it that interpreters want background information, why this, why that. We have to understand that most lawyers are monolingual, so they don't understand how language works. It's not a question that has crossed their minds. So it takes a lot of work. I am happy that in the National Conference, we're going to have a segment about this, and there is a leading judge, the Honorable Justice Francois Kuntz from the Supreme Court of New South Wales, who is the keynote speaker, confirmed. And we're going to have a round table with interpreters and also people who work in that area. That is going to be you can't find a word. The roundtable is going to be led by Professor Sandra Hale. And there's going to be also the deputy chief magistrate for New South Wales. So we're turning that segment also into a PD event for lawyers.
Yeah, I was going to say, are there going to be any lawyers attending this?
Yes. I have been talking to the Law Society. I have sent invitations to Legal Aid New South Wales. So it is a way, by issuing the certificates to the lawyers so that they can meet their own PD requirements, it is a way to attract them to come to understand more. I mean, these are, it's funny, these two professions meet in a courtroom, but they look at things from different perspectives. Their objectives are in some ways overlap, but they're different. And we have lawyers that sometimes don't understand why and they just go back to the default position, which is protecting my client's position.
Well, going back to my studies with Erica as well, and also, Sandra's teachings too, like, we can make or break their whole case. I mean, they spend years and all this money trying to perfect the language of law, and then all of a sudden, we can actually either make their case or break their case with properly conveying what they're saying and the way they're saying it. But we can't do that if we don't know anything about the case.
Exactly. But that, I go back to what I was saying before, is a lack of understanding. When you have monolingual people who have been trained in a way of working, remember that until recently, interpreting wasn't something that lawyers even heard about when in training. So this is about changing a culture. And that
which is not going to be easy, and it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be overnight, is it?
And it takes consistency. Interpreters have to be consistent.
Yeah.
So let's sort out things first with the interpreters, then with the lawyers, then with judges, and that's what we're trying to do. Well, many interpreters, Fatih, I'm very surprised when I go to do this seminar. There are many interpreters who turn up to the seminars and they don't know what the recommended national standards are.
Still, I mean, we've been promoting it for many years now. There have been so many sessions on this, and I guess, like you said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's we have to be consistent, but how do we get it out there? How do we get the interpreters to know?
With being consistent, with learning about it, with being confident that to raise the issue. That's why AUSIT has this questionnaire on our website for interpreters to give feedback, so that the judiciary can provide more training wherever is needed, but if they don't know where the issues are, so we have to take it from the anecdotal to evidence. And we do it by filling out one of the forms.
Let's talk about that form. Now, the form has been live for a while now, but in our conversation earlier, you said the uptake wasn't as much as we would like it to be. So instead of, I guess, ranting, complaining about everything that's going wrong in the courtroom, maybe with each other, we have this opportunity now to actually give feedback directly to these people. You've got this form that is currently live on the AUSIT website.
Yes.
And, we want interpreters from all languages who work in the courtrooms and tribunals. Any little thing that they have interactions with, or any little issues, even the positive things, I guess, just go in there and fill the form out. And it's not like there's a limit to how many times you can fill the form out. Yeah. You can just every time you've experienced something, go in there and fill the form out.
That's right. There's been positive feedback. But if you look at the last report that I provided in the President's newsletter, the respondents were from language, Tier A and Tier B language, Spanish, Arabic, French, Malay, Mandarin, Persian. Nobody from a Tier C or Tier D language has filled out a form yet.
No one?
No.
So when we say Tier C, Tier D, we're talking about the languages that are new and emerging, and that are not so established, let's say.
Low diffusion language, so that there are not a lot of interpreters in those languages. The communities are smaller in number, and I cannot believe that it is because there are no hearings in some Aboriginal languages or in Pashto so. The reason is that, I don't know, interpreters are not filling out these forms. So if the first step is all interpreters that work in courts and tribunals need to know the recommended national standards. The second step is that these interpreters need to implement those standards. And the way by implementing is for asking for background information before the hearing. And then if there are things going on that are not in compliance with the standards, well, dealing with that there and then with the parties, with the lawyers,
But
with
yeah,
the judicial officer. And to do that, I know you have to feel empowered, but that is the ethos of the recommended national standards.
well, a call to action then to, I guess, everyone, including LSPs out there. I mean, AUSIT obviously has been getting the good word out. I know we've run some sessions as well with Professor Ludmilla too. We just get to keep consistently getting the word out there. And you're saying that potentially, there might be practitioners out there who haven't even heard that this document exists, let alone implement it.
And that, for me, that's the most frustrating part, because we have to sort our own house in order first, then start demanding from other professions. So,
correct.
And there are interpreters who get their arms up in the air, saying the lawyers this, the judges that, and I said, yeah, that's fine, but what the issue first we have to address is that all interpreters acting in a consistent way. And that is not happening. There is a minority of interpreters who are using the recommended national standards, and we would like to see that changing. Because if you are the judge, and you see in 1 week, you have 5 different matters with 5 different interpreters, and only one of those interpreters is referring to the recommended national standards, and the other ones are not, and they are not asking for prior information, they're not interacting as per the recommended national standards, then that judicial officer's conclusion is going to be, the one that is problematic is the one that is mentioned in their RNS, because the other ones are not.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, call to action, like I said, to everyone out there, including AUSIT, NATI, us, LSPs. Let's really, really try to get this to every single practitioner out there. I mean, NATI can do so much with their following, and I guess AUSIT with their monthly newsletters, and every time we have a conversation like this. But I think every practitioner will end up working for an agency.
Yes.
Not all of them work for every single agency. Right. So I think we really need to, as LSPs, get the word out there to all the practitioners who are on that agency's payroll, right?
But it's individual responsibility. If you are an interpreter who works in court and tribunals, there's no excuse for you not to download this document, read it, and put it to use.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But in my humble experience within our industry, sometimes you really need to have to, prepare the food, cook it, mash it up for them, and put it in their mouth. With some practitioners, I guess. But if that's what it takes, that's what we'll do. We've got to get it out there. All it takes is one interpreter to, I guess, make or break everything. With a particular judicial officer, let's say.
To change a culture, we need to get to the level of uniformity and predictability. Same thing as when you go to your GP. You've been to one GP in your life, you go to a second or third, more or less you expect the same. The protocol is the same, they greet you, they make you sit, they ask you certain questions. Okay, interpreters in court and tribunal settings need to start all behaving in the same way, so that lawyers, judges, court staff know that they are going to ask for the hearing loop. The hearing loop. Yeah. They're going to ask for a place to sit. They may have the radio transmitter. That they are going to ask for prior information. That is not difficult. What we require is consistency.
Yep.
Not people doing whatever they learned 20, 30 years ago, but doing what the recommended national standards say. It's
and then
simple.
I guess the practitioners that consistently do it, they'll be like, oh, you guys are so annoying. It's always you asking for these things. No one else asks for it. And they're trying to do the right thing by the court and also by the profession as well. Because I know some practitioners that just live and die by the RNS, and then there are some, I guess, who don't even know its existence.
Yes, and that's the thing. Consistency,
Well, a lot of good work has been put into it by people like yourself, academics and practitioners, and also on the court side of things as well. I guess we just got to keep at it.
That's right.
All right, magnificent. Let's talk a little bit about the National Conference. I know that you're hosting in New South Wales this year. I went to my first in-person one last year in Brisbane, and it was amazing, and I loved it. And just can you give us a little bit of an insight on what's happening and what might be coming up for the New South Wales conference?
Yes, the conference opens on the Thursday, 23rd of November in the afternoon with the institutional greetings, welcome to country, and the Blewett lecture, which is going to be delivered by Robert Auerbach. The topic is sustainability of the professions of translating and interpreting in Australia.
Yeah, there's been some surveys going out regarding that recently as well. I, as a practitioner, got something. So
there is a survey going around that it has been launched by the Department of Home Affairs. I'm also going to circulate a survey in July that is going to be more focused into rates, and I will be asking. It will be a very simple survey with 4 or 5 questions to understand what people's rates are according to language and what they think a fair rate should be.
Are you talking about interpreting, translation, or both?
Interpreters and translators, yes. So sustainability is a big topic for the conference. The other ones are community translation, interpreting in health settings, interpreting in legal settings, tribunals and courts. The conference fee. So the conference fee is $190 for members.
$190, did you say?
Yeah, $190
for a 3-day event.
Yes, but only for the conference.
Yep.
So there are 2 other events linked to the conference. One is a welcome cocktail, and the other one is the gala dinner.
Yeah, but within regard to the conference content, $190 to cover all 3 days is pretty good.
That's right.
There's a lot of PD there. I'm just looking at the website now, and it says that you get 40 PD points as well
for attending the conference. So these prices, $190, then goes to $290 from the 1st of August. So I really invite people and encourage them to sign up, to register.
So this is like an early bird special price.
That's right.
Yeah.
For students, it's $100.
$100 for students, bargain. All right, students out there, $100. Get on it straight away. Non-student,
$190.
Is that for AUSIT members or
that's for everyone? That's for AUSIT members, but we are extending this AUSIT member price to members of Professionals Australia, WITI, that's the Western Australian Association, ASLIA, FIT, FIT ITF, ALITRA. So we are anybody who is a practitioner in Australia, to the New Zealanders as well, to the New Zealand Society. So we want to make it accessible to everybody, but this special price stops on the at midnight on the 31st of July. So,
well, everyone, it sounds like a bargain for this amazing 3-day conference. And like I said, I went to my first one last year, my first in-person one, and it was a game changer for me. I loved it. So I highly recommend it to everyone.
The difference this year is that we are going to deliver this conference only on site. There will be
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So it's not hybrid.
No, there will be sessions that are recorded, and then people will be able to access the recording afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to be hybrid. So we invite everybody who can make it to come to Sydney, 23rd to the 25th of November, and or otherwise to access to the recordings.
Well, book now, people, because Sydney does get pretty busy any time of the year. So, it's not just the conference access. You need to make sure that, if you're not from New South Wales, you've got to, take care of your accommodation flights and everything. So get in there now. It is a very, very good deal, $190 before the 31st of July for a 3-day conference. That is very, very good, and $100 for students. And it's pretty much everyone who is affiliated with a TNI association of any sort. We're saying AUSIT, ASLIA, WAITI,
Alitra,
NZSTI.
That's right. And so we're also receiving abstract until the 15th of July. The abstract call, the website is in the website. It's very easy to follow. And I really invite all practitioners to send the abstracts, academics and also non-academics, because there is a lot of knowledge and skill in our membership. So if you have an idea, just put it there in an abstract form, send it. There will be much more opportunity than in last year's conference to present, because we'll be having up to 6 or 7 concurrent sessions. So what we want to do is for more offer, so that people who specialize in a particular stream, just to have content in that stream. For example, I'm only interested in legal translation, legal interpreting. So I would be attending those seminars that have legal content. Because
are you running a session yourself? Are you organizing anything?
I have put some abstracts in.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah.
Look, because I've attended one of your workshops, and it was very engaging. So I look forward to the other one, to the next one. So yeah, look, practitioners out there, academics, we're saying should not be or are not the only ones that can present or facilitate workshops at this conference. Practitioner, if you've got an interesting idea, experience, just follow.
It can be something very simple, Fatih. For example, how to use my LinkedIn profile to get more work. I'm sure there are some translators or interpreters who are very good at that, and they can share ideas with others. Remember that we have a very mixed bag, people with a lot of years of experience, also students. So, but
and they can teach each other different things. Like we have some, I guess, more seasoned practitioners who might need a little bit of a hand in marketing themselves on social media, let's say, and someone who is a student or a new practitioner can help them do that, and then they can share experiences together.
That's right. I mean, I'm sure that there are practitioners out there who use Instagram to attract more work. And I'm sure also there are practitioners who don't know what Instagram is.
Instagram is, yes.
So,
and exactly, they can help each other out. And it's not just a place for learning the conference. It's a place for networking, meeting like-minded people, practitioners. And, I've been saying this, it can be quite a solitary profession. But ever since going to the conference last year, I have not only met a lot of people, but I've kept in touch with them. And you're one of them, and now we've got regular contact. And it's definitely a place for all of us to come together and network and really celebrate each other and our profession, I think.
That's right. And we are expecting a lot of government representatives coming to this conference. So we, we have the sponsors to this conference. Conversa Training is one of them, and we're always grateful for your support. But
always a privilege.
The big sponsors to this conference, our government,
New South Wales government,
all different governments. So we have Ruby sponsor is Multicultural New South Wales.
Yep.
Emerald sponsor is New South Wales Health, all the interpreters that work in health.
Magnificent.
Platinum sponsors are NATI and TIS National. And then we have, we don't have any gold sponsors so far. We have 2 silver sponsors, Connect Now, and I have my document here because my memory is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. You got bronze sponsors a Conversa Training, that's us. EthnoLink. Silver sponsors a Language Loop. Gold sponsors, it says coming soon, so maybe you've got more information on that. Venue sponsor, UNSW Sydney, the Kensington campus. It is just a beautiful venue. So I look forward to that too. Thank you for hosting UNSW.
Language Loop and Connecting Now are silver sponsors, and in bronze we have Conversa Training, EthnoLink, the Load Agency, Lexigo. Yeah, so and we're really grateful for our sponsors, because especially those that are in like private business, because it's a message that you are putting practitioners first. I mean, there are other LSPs that prefer, or for whatever reason, they haven't made up their mind about sponsoring. And if any of them are listening to this, I said there is still time until the 1st of August.
There's still room, yes.
There's still time until the 1st of August, but after the 1st of August, you have to offer something really, really extraordinary for us to look at it, because, you know, all this requires work. Organizing a conference requires work. And I can tell you that for me, it's like having 2 full-time jobs now.
Oh, I'm sure. And it's all voluntary work too, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, whoever hasn't sponsored yet, we can see, like I said here, who has. There is still time. Get on there, sponsor, be a part of it. All right. Let's all do it together. I can see other LSPs here: Language Loop, Conversa Training, EthnoLink. We've got NATI and TIS, of course, New South Wales Government, and Multicultural New South Wales all the way up top. And of course, the host is UNSW. So yes, sponsor and practitioners, go and get registered.
So, Fatih, I wanted to tell you that with our membership rates, actually, for people who are not members of AUSIT, it is cheaper. Well, after the 31st of July, it will be cheaper for you to become a member and enroll, because
how much is it for a non-member?
So it's going to 290 for a non-member.
Okay.
190.
So how much is AUSIT membership these days?
Well, depends. For a student, it's $40 a year. For an ordinary member is $132.
So if I become an ordinary member and then buy my registration for the conference after I get my membership, $190.
So yeah,
I'm pretty much getting the membership for free if I were to, buy the conference registration for $290 as a non-member.
Well, that's right. And also from the 1st of August onwards, if you're not a member of AUSIT, the conference will cost you $390.
Whoa. All right. Membership. Get on it. Also, end of financial year is approaching. Your memberships all this is tax deductible, right?
Well, that's right.
All this is tax deductible.
The National Secretariat has been sending the invoices for people to renew. Remember, if you want to join AUSIT, there is a $10 processing fee plus the membership. So for an ordinary member would be $132 plus 10.
Yeah.
But then if you keep on
but if you renew it, it's just $132. Yeah. That's just an initial payment. All right. Well, that reminds me, I need to renew mine before the 30th. I've got a couple of notifications coming in, so I'll do that today. Okay. Yes. So look, members, don't forget to renew. Non-members, this is our AUSIT, There's about 8 to 10,000 of us out there interpreting, translating in Australia.
There's almost 11,000.
11,000. 11,000. There you go. 11,000. And how many we have now? How many members?
About 20%.
So around 2,000 or so, 20%. Look, it doesn't cost much. It's tax deductible. Let's go and support our own association. This is for us.
We're offering so much, Fatih. We're offering so much. Like from March to date, we already run 13 PD events, and of those, 7 were free.
Yep. I also want to talk about some of the branch committees. Like I joined the Victorian Branch Committee just late last year.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really good team. A good mixture of young guns and some more, I guess experienced ones. And it's really, really good. I really recommend joining your local state branch as well. And like I said, it gives you that opportunity to actually do something instead of just constantly talking about what's going on, and come and become a member. This is a direct call out to all the Victorian ones out there, but also all the other states too. But as the Victorian branch community saying, come and join us. There's a lot going on. We can do a lot together, and with other states as well. There's something that everyone can bring to the table, no matter how small or how big. And it really feels good to be a part of that organisation and doing something for our profession together.
I mean, this year we launched the membership, the mentorship program.
How's that going?
It didn't happen last year. We had 47 applications of people who wanted a mentor, and we only had 14 mentors. So we're still looking for mentors, in particular in Arabic, Mandarin, Spanish, Japanese, French. So there is time still for mentors to send an application form, an expression of interest saying they want to be mentors. For mentees, some matching has happened already, but as I said, we need more mentors so that we can help the balance of those 47 persons who want to be mentored.
Well, get me connected to whoever from AUSIT is organising this. Let's do a session on the mentorship program. Get some mentors, mentees on there. Let's really talk about this.
Okay.
Because I think it's a really big missing link in our profession, especially going from being a student to being a practitioner. You and I, again, in a private conversation, had a little chat and we're saying how, back in the day, apparently there was placements, just like for doctors, just like for nurses, for interpreters to go out there and practice before they graduate. But now, for whatever reason, it's not happening anymore in the recent years. And this mentorship is trying to, I guess, cover that gap, fill that gap. So it's really important, I think, because, we go from being a student to becoming a practitioner overnight. We go from practicing in a tutorial to walking into a courtroom, to walking into a hospital overnight. And it is very stressful. I was very stressed out when I first started. And of course, it takes a few months for you to find your feet. But in the meanwhile, you're making some pretty important interpreting and translation sessions, you're attending or taking part in.
I am aware that some educational institutions offer some real-life experience to their students. For example, the University of New South Wales had working together with the Faculty of Medicine, and there were students, doctor students, simulating a consultation with a patient, and they were interpreted. I am aware that certain educational institutions do provide opportunities for students, but I wouldn't be able to tell you about internships. And that, of course, depends on each institutional educational institution, what they do, what programs they offer, what.
I know that what you're referring to is called in some universities work integrated learning, and it's like future doctors with future interpreters in a simulated environment. I understand that, but still, I don't think it gives that same reality punch as walking into a real courtroom or walking to a real hospital. But of course, it is definitely better than nothing. But mentorship.
There may be an idea there to invite the AUSIT educational affiliates for a podcast.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We can talk about that, and I'm sure there's a million reasons why it was and why it isn't no more that I can speculate about. But it would be really good to hear, I guess, from the horse's mouth of what is being done and what can be done. But at the meanwhile, we're talking the mentorship program. You've got about 40 mentors with 14 mentees. No,
47 mentees.
Other way around.
7 mentees are looking for mentors. Only 14 mentors have expressed interest. So we need more.
What does a mentor get if they, say if they put their hand up to become a mentor?
We give.
Do you provide training for them how to become a mentor?
Yes, there is that, and there is also I think it is a voucher for accessing half a day worth of seminars, webinars that we have in our multimedia kiosk. So, but overall, it's a satisfaction of helping the next generation.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily talking about like a kind of a reimbursement of sorts. I was thinking like training on how to actually train someone.
Yeah.
So will AUSIT provide that? Some guidelines or some little bit of, training?
Yeah. There is guidance, and the education coordinator organizes that. Yeah.
All right, that's magnificent. And I'll talk to your mentorship program person, and I think we'll do an entire session on this. This needs to be, I think, spoken to about a little bit more detail.
But that is just a tiny bit of what we offer in AUSIT. As I said, we run a large number of quality PD, and I have to stress this because I'm seeing sometimes PD offer that leave a lot to desire, really, because they don't add much. I mean, yeah, it's great if you are collecting points, but if you want to really develop as a professional, the PD has to have substance. It has to be delivered by people who have certain credentials. So, sorry if this offends somebody, but I am going to speak my mind here.
As you always do. We love that.
Well, I can be corrected if I'm wrong, but I have attended PDs that were that didn't leave me with anything except for a couple of people's anecdotes. And I don't think that is the purpose of PD. A PD has to be informative. A PD has to be
educative,
based on some sort of research, not just on personal experience. And that is what AUSIT provides. Quality PDs. And as I said, since February, we've run 13 events, and 7 of them were free. So that is value for money for your membership.
For AUSIT members, yeah? Free for AUSIT members. Yeah.
That's right. But many of them have been free to everybody. For example, when I go around the country talking about linguists and the law, we don't charge non-members either. So, but we need you, if you're a non-member, we need you to support us. We need not just your money, your involvement. That's what we need. And
I like that. We'll take your money, but not just your money, your involvement. Come and join us.
There is Fatih, every day I receive an email from a member telling me about issues, telling me about ideas to develop. But for us to be able to do more, we need to have, for example, a CEO, somebody who can run the organization. But we don't have one of those. At the moment, the National Council is not just given guidance as to the direction in which we want to travel, but we are also taking on actions on that really is not for somebody in a council to do, because it's more like day to day. And we have a great national secretariat. We pay this company to support us, but my ambition is that one day we have the funds to actually have a CEO, somebody who runs the organization, like it happens at the Law Society of New South Wales with MIA, the Migration Institute of Australia. But for that, we need to have
the numbers.
We need to have money. And one of the ways to have more money is having more members. So this is like the chicken and the egg. Yes, we'll offer more, but in order to offer more, we need to have more resources. So what are we going to get first? The new members putting in their money and allowing us to grow, or because otherwise we can't. But the little organization we are so far, and the big things we're doing and tackling, I mean, we're going to be providing a first-class conference. We have first-class PD events. As I said, out of the 13 we've been running since March, 7 have been for free. We have the mentorship program. We are running the translation competition for the students. We give a lot of advice when people call, and as I've said, we receive a lot of complaints about LSPs or about certain situations. We always protect the anonymity of the practitioner. I have mediated with LSPs when there have been difficulties between when a practitioner has been blacklisted, or when there are some sort of personality issues and an agency doesn't send more work to a practitioner. So we put ourselves out there for practitioners. There is a lot of stuff that I cannot comment on the substance of it because it is of confidential nature. But we are doing, and we're doing it a lot, and talking and conducting conversations with government. I mean,
you're always a part of academic research as well. You know, as a partner organization, you run research yourself with other academic organizations, institutions. And there are guidelines that are always either created or updated. There is a lot going on.
That's right, and we are 100 people making this happen, because it's not just me, of course not. There is the 16 people in the National Council. There's the immediate past president, both immediate past presidents, not just Erica, also Sandra is always in the background helping us.
Yep.
There is all the wonderful volunteers, the people that put in so much time, like Sylvia, Rebecca, Camille, for Rosario, for the conference, Vesna, for this conference to be a success here in Sydney. There's the committees in each branch. There are the people who are serving different committees of AUSIT, but there's still more. There's room for more people to come and join us, and that's why
I don't think you're ever going to say we're full, no more.
I mean,
let's hope it gets to that stage. Yeah.
I mean, I know I have ambitious ideas, but also they're realistic. We can do it, but we just need people to give an hour a week of their time. I'm not asking you people to give 14 hours, 20 hours like I'm doing as a president. I'm not asking you to do this, but just give us 1 hour of your time. And if we have another 100 members doing that, we'll be able to do so much more. And some people are responding to my plea for help and filling out the form that is included in the newsletter. But we need some more people interested, for example, in helping us in the career planning committee. So what is that? We want to have a committee where the committee...
Is that a new committee, Angelo?
Yes, it
Please
is.
tell us.
It is a committee to research potential working opportunities for translators and interpreters that are starting to see their work becoming more and more frequent. What happens? What happens is that in certain low diffusion languages, the need for linguists in that language fluctuates a lot depending on many things happening around the world, or the influx of migrants or refugees into Australia. And many people that perhaps 10 years ago had a lot of work in their language, now they have very little because the demographics have changed. And so what can they do? Because they are linguists, they have this skill. So if we have a committee that researches opportunities for somebody to do something that is, I don't know, going from translator to practice manager, or going from interpreter to, I don't know, a community liaison or social worker, I don't know. But what we want is a committee where people are looking for those opportunities, finding out where the training takes place, so that we can give our members that are in that cohort some guidance.
Oh, what a great idea.
I mean, I'm lucky. All my languages are in tier A and B. So I know that I'll be busy as a translator for a while. And I have choices. I have more than one language pair. But there are other people who don't. And it can be a big shock finding yourself that you're not being called for interpreting assignments just because there's nobody in your language that requires that.
Yeah, I mean, even maybe you can give guidance on how to access international work as well. You know, not limit ourselves just to what's happening in Australia.
That's right.
You know, now New Zealand's being NAATI certified as well practitioners there. There's a whole other country there. But then, especially with translations and interpreting, there is potentially a lot of international work as well, right?
That's right. And it's not always easy for people who haven't done any work internationally to break in. Also because there is a lot of people out there who act in bad faith, and they will, and there's stories going around that you do a translation and then you never get paid. So there is a little bit of know-how, and that committee would look after that.
Yeah, you know, a bit of guidance on which international agencies to work for example, you know, what tools to use. Yeah, there's a lot that can be done in that committee. What a great idea. What a great idea.
And this changes from language to language as well. And that's why I also wanted to create the language divisions committee. The American Translators Association has a language division. I mean, they are a huge organization with about 9,000 members. Excuse me. But the Spanish, I subscribe to the Spanish and to the French language divisions, and I get a lot of information. We want to have language divisions in AUSIT for two reasons. And one of them is people to know who is working in the same language group and to talk to each other, because it is unbelievable, but there are people who have been working in the same language group for ages and they don't know each other. And there may be different there are different challenges from group language group to language group. In Spanish, for example, I have never received from a translation client a document that I suspected being counterfeit or tampered with. But I work in another language combination where the clients provide tampered documents very frequently. So you can imagine that in that language pair, it is important for people to be aware, because nobody wants to assist in the commission of an offense, for example, using falsified documents. So that is just one example, but the other one is rates. If I know what my other, French into English colleagues charge, because we have talked about it, it is easier for me to set my rates.
Mm-hmm.
Am I too cheap? Am I too expensive? If I cannot talk to anybody else, how
do you know? Yeah.
That's right.
How do you know?
So for that, we want from all the languages in NATI, in AUSIT, we want 2 representatives, a delegate and a deputy delegate. There won't be a lot of time involved in the language divisions, not the first couple of years. But one of the things these delegates could do is organize in their language group a masterclass. I mean, to me, it's very disappointing that we come up with great ideas and then those ideas, they're like a camellia. They see the sunshine, but they wither 2 days after. I mean, there's no traction. Evelyn spent a lot of time putting together that idea for masterclass. We follow that up in Spanish and Portuguese, but I haven't heard from any other initiatives going on, and those Spanish and Portuguese haven't happened again.
How would you start that the language committees or language divisions? How would you start it? Is there a place where people can go in and do an EOI? I mean, how would you actually get it going?
That is one of the new committees, so that people just fill out a form and say, "Yeah, I'd like to volunteer." And
where is this form?
These forms are in the newsletter I'm sending to members.
Okay, newsletter.
It's in the newsletter from May and from April. And it's going to be in the one from June that I'm sending Monday or Tuesday next week.
Is it on the AUSIT website as well somewhere? Can we put a link? Is there a place where all your newsletters are held that people can access? Yes? All right, let's do that. Let's put a link to that. I'll find a link and I'll put it into the episode description.
But I'm going back to the last point I mentioned. People don't expect me as your president to go and do everything myself, because I can't. I physically can't. All we need is more.
Why not, Angelo? Why not?
Because I'm saying this with a little bit of frustration. Is because I get emails where people expect from me things I cannot deliver.
And I know that you do a lot, and physically as well. You know, you're always out and about. But yes, we might be leaving you a little bit too lonely. We will provide you support. When I say we, I talk on behalf of practitioners.
It's ideas that are wonderful ideas, but the person with the idea needs to be prepared to run with the idea as well, and will support that idea. But it's not just this is not a post office service where you come and provide the letter, which is your idea, and then you expect the letter to somehow reach its destination. This is more like you are the postman or woman as well, and you take it and you walk with it, and then on the way will help you, support you, and develop that project. And that's why my plea to people: join in more committees. And I'm grateful to the ones who have already filled out that form, and we'll get in touch with you. We're just waiting for the new financial years to start. But yeah.
That's not too far away. Look, that brings me, I think there was, within Learnbook, there's, I think, some language groups there.
Yes.
Let's talk about Learnbook. In a nutshell, tell me what Learnbook is, what people can do there, how they can access it.
Yeah, so Learnbook is the alternative to the old Yahoo groups that once upon a time existed. Learnbook is far from perfect. And at AUSIT, we are going to investigate in the next year. We're going to start investigating whether we can have something that is more intuitive, user-friendly. But at the moment, it is what it is, and that's what we have, and we should use it. There are many members of AUSIT who don't know how to use it, so we want Communications Vice President Vesna produced a couple of videos, video tutorials, and basically we want people to use them to communicate with the rest of the membership and also with people in their language group.
Well, let's make more noise about it in the upcoming weeks and months about Learnbook, and while the new project is being worked on, we'll use Learnbook. And you're saying that it's already there, it's working. There's a lot that can be done with it. Let's get the word out there, and I'll talk to Vesna and see if we can do some sessions with her. Yeah,
I am aware that there are certain groups working on Facebook, but they are not, how to put it in a polite way. I mean, they may feel void and people wanting to vent about certain things, but for ideas and projects to be taken along in the association, we need to use the proper channels of the association, and that's a Learnbook. Because, for example, I used to participate in a Facebook group. There were a few practitioners there, but there were some practitioners who were members of AUSIT who were not in the Facebook group because they don't use Facebook. So it's not, members have to have the equal opportunity to access information and to participate and to provide a voice. And Facebook is not like a AUSIT Spanish Facebook page or AUSIT Finnish. No, it's just a Spanish page.
This is more official, and everything that is said there, or people who are on there will have AUSIT support as well. You can and especially with your ideas.
And I recognize Learnbook is far from perfect, and we are, as I say it again, we will be exploring finding something that is more adapted to the needs of practitioners in 2023, 2024. But in the meantime, that's what we have, and I want to encourage people to use it.
All right, let's use Learnbook. Let's get on there, and I'll talk to you, Vesna, soon about how we can get the word out a little bit more about that. All right, look, we've covered quite a lot of topics. I like it. I want to bring you back to rates. You wanted to talk a little bit about rates, and you wanted to talk about a survey that you want to send out. I know we very briefly talked about it today, but I think, what's it about?
So, there is a lot of sustainability conversation at the moment. The Department of Home Affairs is running this survey that's finishes on the 30th of June. So I invite everybody to fill it out if you haven't, and I will send the link in the newsletter.
Yeah, I believe there's also, it's got a 10 PD points attached to it as well, I believe.
Yes, Fatih has confirmed that people who fill out the form need to take a picture, and they can upload that to their NATI logbook as proof of having participated, and that is worth 10 PD.
Yep. We've shared that with our practitioners and socials as well, so everyone else get the word out.
What I'll be doing is I'm going to devise my own survey, because I am interested to know what practitioners, according to language, because the pricing is different according to language.
And state as well, I think. States have different rates, I believe.
Yes, yes, but there's in some language group pairs there are fewer practitioners. So, and they talk to each other, which is great, and so they know what rates they agree, or a minimum. But there is a lot of, for me, talking about sustainability and not talking about money is yeah,
Not sustainable.
it doesn't make sense. So I want to ask a very focused question, 5 6 questions. It will be anonymous. The information I will ask is your translator, year of your first qualification, language, and what do I want to know? Language, because as I said before, different languages manage different types of rates or ranges.
Yeah, it's also supply and demand as well. Some languages have a lot of practitioners, some have very few.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And also, I want to ask people not just what they are paid, but what they think would be a fair pay.
Yeah.
Because yes, there is discussion around about an award, a state or federal award, but I want to know what people consider fair, regardless of that. And I'm not taking away value from the work on achieving the award, but I want to know from the horse's mouth what people consider fair and why.
All right. Well, let us know when that survey is ready.
Thank you.
And we'll get the word out there as well. Look, going through our topics that we said we'd talk about today, we've gone through quite a lot. Thank you. Let's talk about the industry affiliate survey. Last time I spoke to you in February, I think it was, there was a survey out. How was the response?
Yes, that was fairly disappointing. We had
What did you want in this survey? Let's just remind people.
Yeah, I wanted what we wanted. AUSIT wanted to ascertain the reaction of practitioners and LSPs in relation to having a structured relationship with certain LSPs that met certain requirements. Now, from the response, it seems to me that, well, only 3 LSPs are interested in having a structured relationship with AUSIT. As I said, the response was 4 practitioners, 3 were AUSIT members, 1 was not an AUSIT member, 3 language service providers, and 1 association of language service providers, 1 government, and NATI. That was the entire response to this piece of work.
Is that enough data for you to make a decision?
It is completely unsatisfactory, because if people really want something to happen, but then they don't reflect on it, on the material. Well, the message I'm getting is that this is not important for them.
Oh,
I mean, I can be more forgiving of practitioners, but LSPs, I mean, this is for LSPs. So if the LSPs don't bother commenting on the consultation, that means to me that they don't think it's worth spending time and effort reading the consultation papers and responding. So
who did you send those surveys to? Like, how did you reach the LSPs?
Well, it's an open to the entire world of we focused, we sent that, we put it on the website, we sent it, and through the newsletter, we also sent individualized emails to the LSPs that operate in Australia.
Well, not much more you can do.
Well, that's right. And because of that, and I'm very grateful to people who have responded and the LSPs who have responded. I'm really grateful to them. But the louder message is this silence from the rest. So what is going to happen with this? with this project is we are not going to present a new industry affiliate program this year. We are going to see, we're not going to drop this project, but it may be that right now is not the best time.
What if we make a little bit of noise about it in the conference? I mean, there's going to be a lot of LSPs there. Could there be a little presentation on this, maybe?
Actually, I think that what is required is something more dramatic. Something. My personal view, and this is not AUSIT, it's my personal view, is that there should be a certification process for LSPs.
For LSPs, yeah.
Because we are operating in a fictional framework, ethical framework. Why am I saying a fictional? Because if you look at our code of ethics, code of best practice, it is always the client and the practitioner and the obligations of the practitioner. But the elephant in the room is the LSPs, because we practitioners mostly get our assignments through LSPs. LSPs can choose where to send an interpreter who is a certified health interpreter, or somebody who has a provisional interpreting credential, or somebody who is not credentialed at all, which is very concerning, but it's happening in Australia. And that is something to be ashamed of. LSPs, those of you who are sending people who are not credentialed at all, you should be ashamed, because that is not acting in the best interest of people who need interpreters. And that makes me really angry, because some LSPs are only interested in making money, and they're not interested.
The bottom line at the end of the day for some of them, isn't it?
And those LSPs will have my support if they want to change their ways. But if not, they will make an enemy in me, because we are very lucky in Australia to have the NATI system. It's not perfect, but it's more than workable and it's fair. And this NATI system what guarantees the person who is vulnerable, that person who doesn't have English enough to go and communicate for themselves, what this NATI system does is says, okay, this person called the interpreter has passed the minimum requirements, not just linguistic, but also ethical. And so it is safe. But a person who hasn't gone through this NATI process, it's an unknown quantity. And some of these people make real harm because they will put their own opinion. I mean, in the language of the law, and you were there, I raised these issues, and I really impress upon practitioners the huge responsibility that they have doing this job. And that's why it has to be done well. But so I am really disappointed when I hear that there are some LSPs that promise government something, but then they don't deliver, and the people who are the recipients of the service, the people who need interpreters, actually are not being given an interpreter. They're given a bilingual who has no training.
Or sometimes given an interpreter, but not the highest available, you know?
I mean,
like you said, with the healthcare or the legal interpreter, they might choose to send a provisional interpreter to save a bit of money. Who knows?
Well, the thing is that I could be a bit more understanding about that, but what is not acceptable at all is putting a lanyard on somebody that says interpreter where that person is not.
Is not an interpreter.
And that is happening in Australia in 2023. And I know I'm making no friends by saying this publicly, but it is what it is, and there is no excuse. And LSP, don't do it again, because we're watching you. I'm watching.
There you go. You've been told.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you. And I don't ever expect you to hold anything back, and you never do, Angelo. So thank you very much for always sharing with your heart here, your thoughts. Look, I want to finish on a bit of a lighter note.
Okay.
Let's talk about your catchy, optimistic motto we want to get for AUSIT. Because currently, what is the motto? It's right behind you. I mean, I don't know if that's a description or if that's a motto. The peak body for Australian translators interpreters. That's a
we want something for AUSIT, more or less of that length, and so there's
so there's a competition right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a competition for the new AUSIT motto.
Yeah.
And how many have you had some interest? Have you got some interesting ones there?
So I don't know, because
did you put one in yourself?
No, I'm creative in other ways, but not in motto. The competition is being run by the communications committee. I don't know how many have been received, but we're still receiving them until August. So there is I know that we have so many creative people in AUSIT. So you will see in the newsletter, you will see the link. So
so your past newsletter that was coming out, that came out, and the one that's coming up, there'll be the link there. We'll share as well. We'll get the word out, and it'll be really interesting. Do you think we'll see kind of like the top 5 and then the top 3? You know, will it be like a bit like a Eurovision, and then can we like vote for it?
I'm sure that the communications committee will turn it into something fun.
They always do. That's great.
Yeah. So we'll see. But we need as many entries as possible. And as I said, I know that there are lots of very talented people in our midst. And just send one. I invite you to, Fatih, if you are inspired.
I'm always inspired when I talk to you, Angelo. I might come up with a few lines after this conversation. All right. Look, very good. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I think we covered quite a lot, and you know, I'm going to put everything that we talked about, any links that we talked about, in the description. But the easiest link is just go to the AUSIT website. Everything that we spoke about today is there. When Angelo sends his monthly president newsletters, you know, actually read them, please. They are quite interesting. You know, I always enjoyed reading Erica's ones, and I really actually enjoy reading yours as well. There's a whole bunch of other information on there regarding PD updates, everything. It's a pretty good newsletter. So just make sure that you read it. You know, it's there for you. It is your newsletter. But like we said, everything that we spoke about pretty much is available on the AUSIT website. The conference is coming up. Don't forget to become a member before, even you've got a week left in this new current financial year, so you can even claim it back on tax. I know that I'm going to do that. So as soon as we hang up, I'm going to go and renew my membership. Really cheap registration, affordable registration to the AUSIT National Conference until the 1st of August. $190 for members, so that's a bargain. $100 for students. Membership to AUSIT, $132 plus $10 if your initial registration. Just renewing is $132, which is great. Tax deductible. Students, $40 all year round. I don't know what else to say. LSPs, we had a few things to say to you. So, you know, I hope you're watching. However we can support AUSIT and our industry and our practitioners. You know, we all got to chip in, right?
Absolutely. And thank you, Fatih, for producing the podcast. It's full of information. I always put the link in my LinkedIn page because
thanks, mate.
You really spread the voice about so many things that are relevant to practitioners in Australia. And we have an obligation to keep up to date with whatever is happening, not just in the developments in the languages we work, but also in the industry.
There's a lot going on these days. It's everything's quite active, isn't there? Within our industry. I mean, now is the time to actually maybe make a difference with some of these surveys that are going around, with being a part of these language divisions that you were talking about. Now is the time, I feel, as a practitioner. There's a lot going around within our industry, a lot, and certain decisions might be made or are being made that might affect our profession for the next upcoming decade, at least. Let's now is the time to become active in our industry. So yeah, look, I wish you all the best. We'll get the word out there. I hope you get some more new members. I hope you get old members, all of them renewing. And like you said, maybe one day we are going to be in the 70, 80% plus membership rate. So the American Translators Agency has 9,000. Big whoop. They've got
Association, yeah.
They got much more. They got a bigger population than us, but I think we can beat them. So there's a good challenge for us.
Yeah, and I want to finish by saying that I look forward to meeting practitioners in Melbourne on the 1st of August.
Yes. Well, we'll look forward to welcoming you again. Yes, is that a free one for everyone?
That's right. This is going to be at RMIT, same room we had in February, thanks to our educational affiliate RMIT and Associate Professor Erica Gonzalez, who has kindly helped us secure that location.
Hi, Erica.
From 5:30 to 7:30 on Tuesday, the 1st of August, and we're going to do it also online, so it's going to be hybrid.
It's going to be hybrid. All right, that's always fun.
But all Melburnians, please come again. I want to meet you again.
Let's say Victorians. All right, not just Melburnians. I know we've got practitioners in all over the state. So come one, come all. It's a big room, and it's a beautiful room in Building 80 there. I look forward to seeing you in person then, and thank you.
And I want to thank Language Loop, who are sponsoring that event as well.
Thank you, Language Loop, for sponsoring that event. And also congratulations to Emiliano and Zuki as well, their new CEO.
Absolutely, yeah.
There. Congratulations. Doing the big transfer there from the ECCV to Language Loop.
Happy retirement to George Bizet.
Happy retirement to George Bizet. What an amazing person in the industry, for without giving his age away, for providing service for many, many years in our industry. But I'm sure he'll have some hand in it somehow. Hopefully, what an amazing character within our industry. So George, all the best to you. Have fun in your retirement, but don't get too comfortable. Old age catches up with you apparently when people get retired. So be careful, right? And good luck to Emiliano in the new position at Language Loop. And today I was with Angelo Berbotto again, National President. We had a good chat. Angelo, thank you so much for keeping me company today.
Thank you, Fatih. Cheers.
I'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can get our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you listen to your podcast, basically, as well as our YouTube channel if you want to actually see what's been going on, not just listen to it. So thank you very much to all of you that have subscribed up until today, but please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much, and all the best to you.